Do you
Is
want to know
this
something funny about this, Mason? I I have dug into the stash that I purchased when we were up in Minot.
get to the stash? It's gonna take you two
Stash?
and a half months to get through your stash.
I know, isn't it awesome?
Some would call it a
So,
bounty.
but and I know you're jealous because I mean I know you probably already like the color of the shirt.
It is a nice color. I will
It
admit
is.
that.
Speeding up, no slowing down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast for episode 18 of season 4. We're coming off a very, very busy weekend, and we're going to recap quite a bit of stuff with myself, Mason, Mr. John Brecko, and Jessup Pelkey for this episode. John, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing great, Mason. I was able to from Thursday night, let's just think about this really quick. From Thursday to Sunday, I actually took in 3 racing events in the middle of working extra hours for quarter and close as an accountant. So yeah, I'm doing really good being able to balance both busy hours of the office to getting away and kind of spending some time at the racetrack from both an announcer side. I finally announced again. It's been almost a month since I've been up in the announcer's tower. So finally got to announce a race and announce a night, which was kind of fun. I was a little rusty on the mic. And then after that, got to be a fan after that again for a couple more nights throughout the weekend. So that was fun. Overall, it's been a busy day, but it's been a fun day.
Good deal. Yeah, nice that you get back behind the mic. Yeah, like you said, almost a month is kind of crazy to think about with it being mid-July. Jessup, how are you doing coming off a busy week yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, Mason. All things considered, I'm doing really good.
Good deal. Yeah, I'm sure you're looking forward to a little bit more rest kind of moving forward and kind of recovering from Mod Tour week.
Yeah, it was a good week. A lot of good stuff. Just ready to get to the second part of the race season and hopefully get some stuff cleared up and ready to go. Finished up for the end of the year. Should be a good thing and got some invitational stuff getting
Mm.
lined up for that and geared up for that and yeah.
Yeah, for myself, busy Monday, coming off 4 straight nights of scheduled races that I was planning to attend. So that was kind of a nice little change of pace based on the last month, the way the weather's gone. So nice to not have to deviate from the original plans. So full weekend recap coming up later this episode. But we want to thank all you watchers and listeners of the Track Packers podcast. Always been getting some good feedback over the last several episodes. I want to give a special shout out to Scotty Ireland. He announces down at the Fiesta City Speedway and Madison Speedway, and on occasion Redwood Speedway, checking out our episode and giving us some great feedback. So thank you, Scotty, for checking out the Track Packers podcast. And also thank you to our presenting sponsor, Hitch Harness, Mr. Tyler Hall out of Ferndale, Minnesota, who does race an IMCA modified and on occasion a Wissota modified, but he's only raced 3 times this year. So hopefully this back half of the season he's able to put a few more races together. But John, talk to us about Hitch Harness and what kind of products and services that they provide.
Boy, they can provide you all types of services. So their website is hitchharness.com. And as you can see on the screen, there's a lot of accessories for not just your truck, but also trailer accessories, other items that you can even use for your personal vehicle, and just a lot of neat items on there as Tyler has expanded that business and the volume of support that he can provide you from even anything in the store for your community or even event that you are hosting as well as part of any type of social outing. So, if you want to protect your hitch, though, the business was built on the hitch. Do not be like a Jessup. Sometimes Jessup will be in a vehicle and just will randomly fly out of that vehicle and into another car and could injure somebody very badly. So, to protect yourself from those hitches that come out of the back of a truck bed or any type of hitch that would fly off, get a hitch harness. It helps you protect anything within your vehicle to provide safety not for just for you, but others on the road. So again, check them out, hitchharness.com. A lot of great products and items out there. And thank you, Tyler, for sponsoring us here in the podcast.
Well said, John. Thank you once again, Tyler. Greatly appreciate your support over the last few years.
And C Mason, my point is proven right there as we have lost Jessup again. We need to get a harness to harness him down.
We should get a special like seatbelt, like harness type thing with hitch harness on it. That would be really good sponsorship opportunities there too. So as you can see, the lineup, we're missing Becca tonight. Kind of taking a little bit of time off, kind of recovering from the mod tour herself. But John's on the pole now, in lieu of Becca not being here. Jessup's outside pole, and I am by myself in the back row. So that is the lineup for today's episode. And why don't we get things started and rolling with the waving or drop of the green flag and get right into who or what we are repping. John Breckle, go ahead and start us off.
Oh boy. So I am repping Mason, one of the shirts that I got as part of my winnings from the World of Outlaws show at Nodak. So, and by winnings, I mean I bought way too many t-shirts. So, but they were on sale. That's even better. Boy, now I'm really turning into my mother. So here is what I am repping. I am repping a very nice pink Ryan Gustin 19R shirt, the Reaper. And on the back of the shirt has got a great picture of his car, a lot of fun graphics. I should show you that actually here. Let me turn around in my little sitting station here. So here's the back of the shirt.
Nice
As you
looking
guys
shirt.
can see, a lot of great things on the back of that shirt, and a lot of great graphics as well. This is one of my favorites that I picked up as part of the week up there when the World of Outlaws came through the Northern Plains up here in Minnesota and North Dakota. So it was a very nice shirt. Saw it, it had my size on there, and yes, it is pretty pink.
Aw.
Pink, favorite color of mine, and yeah, that definitely looks good on you, John. And apparently, if there's a sale on shirts, folks, at a racetrack, John Breckle is probably going to be scooping on by to see what kind of shirts he can find.
Especially if they're in my size. I like to wear them bigger, so hence 2X, 2XL. Just, hint, hint.
There you go. So if you have 2XL shirts, John's your guy. Alrighty, Jessup, who or what are you repping for this episode?
Well, like I said earlier, we're talking invitationals. I got the 36th annual Wissota 100 at the, let's see, it was still going under I-94 Sheyenne Speedway.
Yeah, so it's a little bit older because now it's I-94 EMR Speedway, so a couple years old.
Yep. And then I am rocking a new hat. It is the B-Main Bobby's hat, which represents some drivers from the modified tour, stock car guys,
Yeah.
like Hiddlebaugh and Tanner Allen. Really good guys, good group of people there. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk more about the tour here in a bit, but they're real pleasant, real fun guys. They always had a big smile on their face throughout the whole week. And yeah, I saw they had a B-Main Bobby's stuff, and yeah, they're pretty cool. I like them. I guess just as a little rocket pop, and then there were two faces on there, and they handed out some stuff to the winners of the B-Mains. They got the B-Main
stickers.
winners.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So I've collected all the stickers for the weekend, kind of like the jewels for the Infinity Gauntlet.
That's awesome.
It is. And just like that, I snapped half the season away.
Well, that's a really cool find, really cool hat. And I remember, I think I got a hero card from either Tanner or Micaiah that has like the B main bodies on it too.
Did speaking of hero cards, have you had a chance to see Brody yet?
No, I might see him on Thursday. I'm not sure on my schedule for this weekend quite yet, but I figure I'd get in touch with him at one of these next couple weeks.
He's got your other hero cards. So
Excellent. Thank you. Fellow sponsor of the Track Records podcast, Brody Carlsrud, coming through in the clutch. Actually, well, Jessup and Becca coming through in the clutch, and then Brody being the delivery.
Brody was there.
He was there. That is true.
You got to give him credit, Mason.
Credit to you, Brody, in the B1 IMCA stock car. And for me, just because, well, I'll do that one last. I got a new hat. This is the 28H. It's kind of hard to see with the lights, but it's Daryl Hughes. He was up here for the mod tour, and so got a nice hat from him when I was strolling through the pits in Jamestown. The shirt is of the 28 Wissota Street Stock, Greg Josie, out of the Grand Forks area. One of his new shirts this year. So number 28, and kind of wearing his shirt because he and his girlfriend just announced that they are engaged. So congratulations to Greg and Sarah on their engagement. And he also just had a birthday, so happy belated birthday, Greg. And then just because I kept with the 28th theme, here's a Bailey Roche koozie again.
Good job, Mason.
Good job, Mason.
So I'm repping all sorts of 28s for this episode, even though we're on episode 18. But I'm like, new hat, new shirt, gotta rep it. So that is what we are repping for episode 18. And we will move into the Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind and give a shout out to Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol in the 12S IMCA Modified and 104 IMCA Stock Car. He did one race on the Dakota Mod Tour, just missed the show by a little bit in Jamestown, but he did race this past Sunday or at the McLean County Speedway with a nice solid 4th place finish. And so be sure to stay up to date on Isaac's racing at 12S Racing on Facebook. And if you see him in the pits, go down and talk to him, and you should have some pretty good snacks and some good food to try out. And so thank you, Isaac, for your support on the podcast as well. So I got 3 pictures for this episode. John, do you have a couple at all?
I am actually getting my second one as we speak. So I've already got my first one. And I am almost ready with the second one.
Okay, I can share my screen first. And
Yeah, go ahead, Mason.
I have to make sure I give you permission to share the screen first. Okay, here's number 1.
Okay, let's see, Mason. Who is this?
I don't see anything for Mason.
I don't see anything yet.
It takes a second to load.
Oh, that's a picture that
is Hunter Carter.
Bigger view.
That is
It's
correct.
Hunter Carter.
That is Hunter Carter.
I'm going to say that's Hunter Carter.
Good job, Jessup. We're proud of
When
you.
I found this photo, this was his very first race.
That was his first race ever?
What track is that?
This is Cheyenne.
That's Lisbon.
Is it?
Yep. They used to have a guardrail all the way around the inside.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. According to the caption on this picture that I found on Facebook earlier today, it said this is his first race.
Oh,
Interesting, Mason, that would be kind of the first one. That's kind of a cool little throwback.
Yeah. All right. Number 2.
is that a 56 or a 66?
Is a 66.
I don't know a lot of 66s, Mason.
This one's going to take a little bit of thinking. This driver still races to this day, but not in the same class.
Eric Briskaden.
No.
Is it Jacob Napper?
You are correct, John.
Okay.
I should have known that. Shoot.
Raced street stocks for a few years before being in the super stocks, and now is in the Wissota modified class.
Huh. Cool looking car.
Yep.
And it does look very cool. Honestly, I like the way that the scheme kind of looks.
It's very simplistic.
Yep. Yeah, I like the flames on it.
Going back. No extra stuff. Oh. 48.
Oh, that looks like a 9.
It is a 49.
No.
It's a 49. It's a hobby stock from the Minot. That's Minot.
Correct on the location, correct on the class.
That's Nordic Speedway. I'm just trying to think. Is that Drew Christensen?
It is not Drew Christensen. Good
Oh,
guess.
was this before I was around, Mason?
Yes.
I don't know, Jessica, but you're like as old as dirt, aren't you?
I'm outside. Mason, do they still race?
They actually have not raced from what I can
I
recall.
know who this is.
Yeah,
Who's
that was a big hint.
Yes, no, Mason, it clicked before you said that. It's Eric Laugenschlager.
That is
That's
correct.
right. Oh my goodness.
Because I was just thinking out loud, I'm like 49, 49. It clicked on me. I'm like, that's got to be Laugenschlager, and sure enough, it is.
John,
Yep.
I'm glad I could help you with the information part.
Yep. Eric Lauenschlager raced hobby stock for many, many years before sport mods and mostly recently modifieds. But yeah, I don't think he's been out this year.
I don't think he's been out yet either. So, guys, I'm not going to have you guess the year because these are going to be a little bit older, but just a
19,
heads up, these are all from the 90s.
1994.
90s, and I'm keeping a late model theme tonight. That's my
1980.
theme. The first one I think Jessup is from 95. It's either from 94 or 95. I'm pretty sure it's 94 actually.
Let's take a look at this. You got me intrigued here, John. That says pinch. Ooh, 70. Oh, that's a cool looking car, first off.
That is
Here, I'll
cool.
make it bigger for you
That
guys
is
too.
a I'm just gonna say it. That is a badass design. And that's probably hand painted if it's 95.
It's hand painted. Yeah, that's definitely hand painted.
Oh, that
It's
is
either I think it's 94 actually, Jessup, if I'm not mistaken.
hmm.
Is that a Skitland?
It's one of the Skitlands, but which Skitland?
I'm gonna guess Dale.
It is Dale. Yep, it's Dale's car because I think Cody wasn't quite old enough to be racing yet in a big stock
Oh,
car.
yeah, good point.
God,
Yep.
that's
So
time ago. That's about when I started first watching races.
yeah, so this is my first one that we had. Now I have to stop sharing because otherwise, then you guys can't see the next one. Here's the next one that I think you guys will get kind of a little bit of a kick out of.
Hmm.
Zoom back in, John. What does it say?
Renville Farmers
Well, it
Out.
says Michael BT, I think is what it is,
Is
or
that a
BI.
sponsor on there?
It's a sponsor.
Oh, is that oh, that's not Renville Farmers Out. That's Revelo. Ted Hample?
No.
I'm not gonna know this one, John.
Unless
Oh,
it's Jeff
Jessup,
Wildung.
Mason's right. I was gonna say Jessup, you know this one.
Who is it?
That is a Jeff Wildung.
Wow, I was
Jeff Wildung back in the 50s with the late model number. And back in I believe it was 97 is what this one was from.
you know that car right there is something that I've really missed about days gone by. I miss beer sponsored cars.
I know. Me too.
Like the Budweiser was such a. I mean, I had Danny McMahon and Tim McMahon running the Budweiser sponsored cars. I think. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. But it's been so long since they've had a good.
Oh, that's a sweet looking car.
I like that one in the background.
This is from I believe 98 or 99.
Well, I have a guess right off the bat, but Jessup, do you have a guess?
I'm gonna say Jordan Tolkson.
No,
No,
Mason knows it, I have a feeling. Mhm.
I think this is Pat Wisegram.
Oh,
It is.
yep, yep.
It's Pat Wisegram.
I don't, Jordan, he may have been 2 or 3 years old with this picture.
He's probably pretty young still.
Give me John Tolkson. Let's go with him.
Well, he's not much older if he is older.
I was like, you're not much older at all either. But yeah, let me look here really quick, guys. It was in 98. It was a 1998 paint scheme.
That was a sweet looking car.
Those are
There's
good.
some really nice ones on here from 98.
When you say on here, you mean Western Wanderer?
No, I got these off of a different site tonight. You'll be surprised.
Oh, he's got another cheater site.
I've got another cheater site that I found over the last 2 weeks.
Well, those are excellent photos, John. Great addition to the Hot Sauce Hot Memory Rewind. And we'll move into the Track Pack Report, which a lot happening in the Track Pack Report. We'll finish off the Dakota Classic Modified Tour recap. John and I recapped Jamestown, and I don't think we touched on Esteban.
All right,
We didn't.
let's talk Esteban quick.
Well, how about
That's
this?
all you,
Before you
Jessup.
go, Jessup, before you go, how about this? Let's have you do a recap for each night since you were on the tour. Because you were in different roles each night.
So Jamestown, let's start opening night. Jamestown, I was Becca's chauffeur, and I basically started the night just running around with Stacy to get stuff lined up and get stuff working and help her remember certain things to get done and aspects like that. So that was fun to start the night off.
You guys were helping a lot of drivers with stuff to start the nights.
I ended up running and going getting the Bellex ice because they forgot ice on the night, and they were pretty happy about that. So that was something simple and nice to do. But overall, night I sat in the middle tower, helping the corner people, watching basically the closer battles just to make sure if there was any contact or anything that there would be an extra pair of eyes on there, and that went pretty smooth. Overall, I thought the night was pretty good. I mean, besides the one ordeal, it was a good night, I thought. That's it.
That's it.
What was the ordeal? Was it the DQ?
Yes, the DQ.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, what the heck was the ordeal? Like, oh, I completely forgot about that.
Was it Jeremy Ritchie to win?
Yes.
That was. I mean, I was excited for Jeremy. That's a good win for him. But Johnny clearly had the win. I thought he was gonna. But we'll talk more about Johnny at the end. Big thing on that, the Johnny situation, man, it takes a lot of fortitude and character to go out and apologize and explain the ordeal and what had happened. And I mean, he even admitted that the tech person showed him what was wrong and it was illegal. And he didn't say it was a cheated up thing. It just bad situation, unfortunate situation, and apologized and came back, and maybe we'll talk more about his comeback redemption storyline. Mods, man, it's been a long time. Who won mods?
Hibden.
Mods was
Hibden.
Yep.
He's got probably, with maybe the exception of Scotty, the most slaps on that. Well, in that.
Jessup.
No,
Jessup.
Wagner probably had the most slaps on it. I caught myself. It doesn't count.
I'm pretty sure Johnny C has more than Wagner.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't
was
know.
gonna say Johnny C.
Oh man, maybe Johnny does have more. I would have said Wagner, but it was a good race. It was really well competitive. Braxton was making a run for it towards the end, and all in all, it was a good race. A good opening night minus the DQ. And yeah, we'll talk a little more about that as we go on. Night number 2. You know what the biggest disparaging thing that happened night number 2?
What was that, Jessup?
Burgers and Brews, the finish line bar was closed.
Really?
It was closed.
Are they remodeling?
No, they were closed from like the 4th to the 7th or the 8th.
Oh, because of the holiday weekend.
Oh, see, I was disappointed because I left mine at that evening and I was like hoping to catch finish line on the way out, but I left mine at way too late because I'm like their hours, like think they're open only until 7 on Sunday. So I'm like, well, shoot, I missed out on that anyways. So wow, I had no idea they were closed. That's not an ideal weekend to be closed, especially with Mod Tour.
No. I mean, we all need to take vacations. I get that, but it's one of the highlights I look forward to every year.
Hmm.
Anyways, mine not rain out. Could go either way. You could have raced. It would have been rough, and a lot of stuff would have been probably damaged. And drivers would have been mad that they raced and would have cursed out the track and the promoters for it. Whereas on the flip side, they tried to they tried. Let's just put it that way. They
They did.
tried to do something with the track, and it wasn't going to be an ideal situation. And they canceled, and that had people scrambling left and right. But it's a dang darned if you do and darned if you don't. You're going to get yelled at, and I look at they made it the right decision, whereas there will be less damaged vehicles and yeah, so that was night number two. Then going up to Estevan, flip of the coin, danged if you do, danged if you don't situation. Gorgeous day. They just had like 2+ days of rain, and the track just was too soft. And it was rough racing. It was a rough go. And not like drivers were intentionally plowing into each other, but it just was tough. I mean, if they didn't race, it was going to be a really bad deal for the tour wise. But yeah, it was good. Troy Hypo won the stock cars, and then in mods it was Cody Schulp, and that was a good win too. Locals swept the night, so that's kind of a cool deal. You don't get to see that too often.
Well, based on some of the finishing positions, you had like Kyle Strickler going plus 20 from 24th up to 4th,
Yeah,
or Cody Laney going plus 17, 22nd to 5th.
yeah. So if you weren't overly pushing it and you're being smart of driving through some of the ruts, you were going to go forward.
Hmm.
And great time, great people. Had lunch up at Blackbeard, which is connected to the hotel that has the beef eater. Great food there. Um, that was fun. Then we also scored some winnings there. I had to purchase these, but let me see if I can pull one of these bad boys out.
Oh, yes, I remember those were getting
Oh yeah, I
sold.
saw those.
Yeah, so I got a case of these.
Nice.
So you too, Mason, could have a winning.
Eh, I forget, is it just a water bottle or is it actually like beer or something?
It's full on water.
Okay.
So they got those made up, and that was pretty cool. They got some, um, yeah, it was cool. Something different, something unique. And then, yeah, that was Canada. Just briefly going through. Going into Williston, it the tour needed a good night of racing, and they my view of Williston's always been something out of the ordinary always happens at Williston. Something, one thing, whether it be weather, whether it be uh, crashes or going into the parking lot, something always happens. The tour needed a really good night to get it back, bring morale back up, and well, after some track packing where they had to get literally everybody back out there and pack her in because it was super wet, it was a great track.
Hmm.
They had really, really good racing, and the modified feature really proved it to be a good
Hmm.
good night of racing there. With Tom Berry, I think had the early lead, and Waller ran him down, passed him up top, and then Braxma chased down Walla and passed him down low, and then held off Walla for the rest of the feature. And that was a really good race, and there was through lap traffic and all that good stuff, and it was really fun. So hats off to Williston for picking up the chain and pulling the tour out of the ditches a little bit, and it definitely set the tone for the next two nights. As I mean, the amazing race at Southwest definitely was something to see. Tour, went to Southwest Speedway, and big storyline of the night was the feature race, the first 13 or so laps in the mod feature, where it was Slider City, and Jay Van would say White Castles were being served, and between Tom Berry and Ethan Braxma, and it was a great night of racing, and another super smooth track, probably one of their best tracks of the year, and what a time to have it on your biggest night of the year. So that was awesome. And yeah, that's what stood out for me. It was a great night. We watched a bunch of storms form south and east of us, drift over wherever they had to go, and just thankful it wasn't over the track because we didn't need another rain out.
Nope.
Then, then they closed it off at Dakota Speedway, and another great modified feature. And I know I'm focusing mainly on modifieds, but up to that point, I think besides helping with some tower stuff, which at Dakota Speedway, if you're in the tower, you don't need more than one or two people up there to watch what's going on, because you can see everything from the top of the grandstand, and it's a really good view. So it was a pretty easy night at Dakota Speedway. Dickinson as a corner official, and that was interesting. Not bad interesting, just it was interesting being a corner official there, and I've helped out at just about every location there now. Infield official, and helped with getting hot laps lined up, and did the draw shack. So that was interesting. Haven't really, Becca just basically was like, I need you to do this. I'm like, okay. So did draw and transponder rentals, and that was interesting.
Were you out in the sun becoming miserable?
No, I was not in the sun. I was in the sun, but
Oh,
shade. So
Opportunity missed.
I was just some
opportunity missed.
guy. So yeah, that's all I did, and getting back to Dakota Speedway, it was a good night. Good. The nice part about Dakota Speedway is no matter how bad your tour goes, you can always have a general expectation of what to expect, and about 95% of the time it's going to be like that. It's going to be fast, smooth, plenty of room for to race where you don't have to beat and bang on anyone. Realistically, at the end of a good night or a general night, all you have to do is get a leaf blower, walk up to your car, walk around it with the leaf blower on, and blow all the dust off, and then you're done, and you can put the car away for the night. And that's what they got. And it was the track crew did a great job and prepped it really well, and it gave for exciting racing for everybody. And all in all, I mean, the mod feature again, exciting race. Braxma was starting to walk away with it with a really good battle for second. Was it Laney and Strickler? I can't remember.
It was.
Yep. Okay. So Laney had worked his way up through the field pretty well, and Strickler was really consistent throughout the whole night. And Braxma was doing Braxma things and comes to the white flag, gets through one just fine, coming out of two. There's not, I saw some, like, I'm like, oh, is that smoke coming out of the back? And as it's leaving the exit of two, Braxma blew a motor, which then led to the battle for second being the battle for the lead. And that was a great finish. Cody and Kyle coming to the finish line with Kyle edging out Cody. And that was definitely a great finish for what ended up being a great tour. And yeah, overall, great week.
Yeah, I was watching the races after the fact. So like yeah, like when they got to Williston, like the racing really picked up, especially after like the Radon Minot and then Esteban, and then yeah, Wilson had some great features. We got Angel Munoz picking up his first tour win over in Williston, and then he doubled up, won the next night in Southwest after a really great battle.
Yep.
Really good race in the stock cars that night too at Dickinson. Dickinson had some really good features, both in the mods and in the stock cars. Track was super wide, it looked like in Dickinson too, Mason, based on, what I had been watching. And really good job to Brad Hardigan and his crew to get everything updated and get them a nice surface and be able to run all over it. Gladwell Hannon and the crew up in Williston did a really nice job getting everything, wide for the track and getting track conditions up and running and doing a really good job. I have to give props to the Esteban crew, like Jessup said.
Go,
Um,
John, going back to Willison, a lot of props should go back out to the drivers themselves because they went back out and started. They needed to pack the track in. It was super wet before hot laps, and you know, to ask drivers to pack in the premier classes, it's not an easy feat. But the people that were out there, I mean, they had all the stockers out first, but the ones that really stick out to me are the mod guys who are the first ones who go out there and they don't have to be asked a dozen times to get out there. And the first two drivers out there that I saw were Dalton Forey, and this is the one that is kind of a head scratcher for me because you get the traveling mod guys. Not saying they're divas or anything, but it usually takes a good amount of convincing and effort to get them out on the track. And Jeff Taylor was one of the early people, one of the first two out there. And I think that's pretty cool. And then you had Johnny C and Scotty Gartner pulling out third and fourth out onto the track, and then after that it was a steady flow of guys following their leads out. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it definitely takes sometimes a group effort from all parties to make a track and a night work. So yeah, kudos especially out to Williston, and Dickinson had really great features. Mandan, I actually have not gotten a chance to watch the features in Mandan because like I was I was at Cheyenne during the Mandan portion of the night, but now I was kind of following live time on the stock cars in particular, and I'm like, what the heck happened in the stock cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mason, you'll have to go back and watch the stock car I mean. Stock car I mean was really good in Mandan. A lot of racing all over the track. Mods were really good in Mandan too. Was nice to see in Mandan too with the mods that there was kind of a little bit of a lip on the top, so they could rail the top in Mandan. You don't see that a bunch, so that was kind of nice to see that in Mandan we could rail the top. So good job to Chris and everybody from the crew from Harold and everybody from the crew from Dakota Speedway as they did really good from a track prep perspective and keeping up on it, especially when it was like 95 degrees that day. It was a warm Thursday for the final night of the tour. But I have to go back to Esteban because I do know there was, like Justin said, there was a lot of drivers that would have been mad if they didn't race, and there was a lot of drivers that were a little bit upset because they did race. overall, they were dealt with a really tough call and a really tough hand. They handled it the best they could. They put in a lot of time and effort into that facility to get it back up and running. Usually Estevan is one of the best races on the tour too within both classes. So kudos to them to do everything in their power to get that track up and running and put on a show still for the fans because it was a packed grandstands that night too. To go through and try to get that night in the best they could.
Yep, and Esteban over the last couple of years, their track prep is so good. It's usually ranked right up there with Dakota Speedway. It's like 1A and A1 for track prep crews and how smooth the track usually is. And it was a rough deal, literally and figuratively speaking, because they were backed into a corner. You had such gorgeous weather that you were going to upset everyone.
Very true. Before we move on to the other races, did you want to give a shout out to the stock car winner in Mandan? Because that's the only one we haven't mentioned yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to recap and relapse everyone who won. So we're speaking of a redemption arc earlier, and redemption is spelled Jonny, as Johnny Carter picked up the feature win, and that's a good way to come back from adversity. It's sticking it to everybody who would have spoken ill, which I don't think there's maybe less than a handful. We probably could count all individual persons on one hand. But no, that's a really cool way to come back and regroup, rebounce, redemption, and verification that it wasn't just the questionable part that allowed him to win. So talent shown and the cream of the crop rose to the top.
Well, excellent. It sounded like a great week on tour. I'm bummed I only got to see one night of action. That was disappointing, but
No,
looking forward to next year.
it was a good year. Um, the last 3 nights really picked it up. There's a lot of social interaction with the Williston feature, not Williston. Oh, that had a lot of social interaction. The Williston features did, but the Slide Fest at Southwest Speedway got a lot of attention, and that was good. And yeah, it's a good way if you get 3 good nights in a row. It really revives the attitude and the feeling around the tour, and it sends it off in a manner that the drivers usually will leave a lot happier when there's a smooth racetrack or good racing on the last night. But you get 3 good nights in a row of good racing, so that sent a lot of people home really happy. And yeah, it was a good ending, and the whole tour crew did a great job. The TV crew did a great job. And it was fun following them around a little bit, seeing what they do, and checking inside their main center for their control center of everything. That was really cool. Got to go in, take a look, and see what they've got, and we are not on equal levels, Mason.
You don't have a control center?
Not like theirs. I will say their control center kicked the crap out of the Dakota Speedway tower. It's a really neat setup, and Nate and the group all did a really good job.
So that was the Dakota Classic Modified Tour, a very solid finish after a good solid start. Just a little bit of hiccup in the middle with the weather. Of course, weather wreaking havoc across the entire summer. But hopefully a lot of those drivers come back up. I heard some really good compliments, especially towards the end of the week. And so I'll kind of start with my little weekend recap. I won't take too much time on these. I did 4 nights, but the first one I was at the same time as Mandan was taking place, I was at the Cheyenne Speedway. They were back after a couple weeks off, and they had a special guest IMCA Racer Sprints on hand. But things kicked off in the NX Legends where the 33 of Alex Kakowski, who's not been racing full-time over the last couple of years, but he's been racing a little bit more this season, and he had a really great battle to get to the front of the feature, and he got his first win in a couple of years. And so congratulations to the 33 of Alex Kakowski for starting feature action off down at Cheyenne. Midwest Modifieds was a very fun battle. You had the Langlands battling the likes of Jaron Webstead, the Rankies, and Kyle Anderson. And the track had a little bit of character on this night. It was very humid, just like over in Mandan. Not quite as hot, but boy, that track was not drying out with the humidity. And even through all the bumps and all the character, Alex Langland held off a late challenge from his brother, and they went 1-2 with Alex picking up the win in front of his brother Kyle. So congrats to the Langland family on that great finish. Your Race Saver sprints were up next. It was Monty Ferrero who made the long trek up from Nebraska. He was the early race leader, but then through lap traffic, the number 15 of Layla Eisenschenk made a great move and great pass to steal the lead, and she had to hold off several charges from the 45 once again through lap traffic, and she claimed the feature win at the Cheyenne Speedway. Wissota Street Stocks went clean and green with the 19 of Cole Gresseth, who has been snake bit at the Cheyenne Speedway up until this point, where he got to lead in front of KCU Satis, and he set sail to get his first feature win at that track since 2021. His first sight of his first career Hornet race win as well. Gen X late models, though, they were fast and fun to watch on the Cheyenne Speedway. They were hauling the mail, and one guy who could haul the high side better than most was Parker Gilbertson, who was still looking for that first career win. Well, tonight was that night, and he got his first career feature win in the 23 juniors. So big congrats out to Parker Gilbertson on the win. And finishing out the night was the Hornets. Braden Munn in the 2 machine got the feature win to close out the night. And so that was your night over at the Cheyenne Speedway on Thursday night. Now, of course, normally Dakota Speedway races on Friday nights, so that meant Friday was kind of an off day for John and Jessup. You didn't go anywhere on Friday, did you, John?
No, I was at the office late Friday.
All right, so I will do my Friday recap where I made the trek over to Wisconsin to the Red Cedar Speedway in Menominee for the first of 2 nights for the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour. I always look forward to this weekend. It's such a fun time to go way out beyond my neck of the woods. And a pretty solid field of street stocks on hand. We had 29, I believe, 20 or 29 street stocks. So very good representation there. I think that's actually one of the most we've had over at Red Cedar. So that was really good start to the weekend. They also had Midwest Mods, Super Stocks. They had a Super Stock makeup feature that they've been trying to make up since May 30th. So they had that on the card along with mods and late models. So Midwest Mods kicked it off, and it was kind of a caution fest. So they had to cut laps, and it came down to green-white checkered. It was a battle between the Jensens, Brandon Jensen, the 21, and Joey Jensen. So Joey threw a slider coming to the white in front of Brandon, which probably wasn't the cleanest one. But nonetheless, he made the pass, and he got the win in the 30 machine in front of Brandon Jensen, and those two exchanged pleasantries after the checkered flag. So hopefully that doesn't boil over into something further down the road. So that kicked off feature action. In the Super Stocks, all night, it was a Terrence Spacek show. He won the makeup feature in the Super Stocks, and he kicked butt in the regular feature as well. So he got 2 wins on the night in the 22T, so congrats to the 22 of Terrence Spacek. Street Stocks had a couple of early cautions, but then they had a long, and I mean long, green flag run to finish out that race. And a guy that's only raced a couple of times this year, especially in the Street Stock, Jeff Nowak out of Wausau, Wisconsin. He started on the pole and kind of had a clear sailing, but then kind of had to deal with lap traffic, and you had to have hard chargers such as Justin Vogel, Nick Trainer, Andrew Hansen trying to chase him down. And Nick and Justin were tracking him down, but just at a very slow rate, and they just ran out of time. They probably needed a few more laps or a caution to really make a move on Jeff. But Jeff, in the 79, gets his first career Street Stock Tour win. Nick Trainer ended up in second, Justin Vogel in third. So great race in your Street Stocks. Your modifieds, it was the Calvin Iverson show in the 27X. He had a straightaway lead until he hit the wall on the front stretch with 2 to go and blew the right rear. So then that opened up the floodgates for guys like Jake Hartung, Ben Hillman, and Shane Holopka to go at it. But Jake Hartung runs SSR chassis. He when he gets out front, very tough to catch. So he ran away on the late race restart to get the win in the modifieds. And then in your late models, kind of one thing that's really cool about Red Cedar Speedway, a lot of their local late model drivers are some of the heavy hitters you hear from out here. So like AJ Demel, John Canta, Jesse Glens, James Giassi, like a star-studded field. Well, in this star-studded field, it was Jesse Glens who got out front and he put a whooping on the field. AJ Demel did running down a little bit in lap traffic, but was never close enough to make a move. So the 7X of Jesse Glens capped off feature action at the Red Cedar Speedway. They just finished in time before the curfew. I think they had 1 minute before they would have had to shut down. So kudos to the Red Cedar Speedway on a fantastic night of racing. So then we move on to Saturday, and the Jamestown Speedway was back in action after the mod tour. This is their first regular-ish night in a few weeks. So what all happened at the Jamestown Speedway with you two? Because I know Jessup was working there again.
Jessup
No?
wasn't in Jamestown. He was MIA.
Oh, you sent the picture, and I was thinking he was at the track.
John, get him, John.
Was MIA. That was from
Oh,
the Saturday before,
you played a
where
trick on me.
he was trying to look important. But on Saturday night it was their first show with a regular race night since June 14th.
Oh, that's the last time
So
I was there before the mod tour.
yes, Mason was there before the mod tour, and then it was kids' night, so a lot of the drivers came up with cards, snacks, candy, t-shirts, a lot of goodies, right? A ton of drivers came up, really good attendance from there. 95 cars total in attendance, 23 bombers, and it was a good show for the bombers, except there was a lot of cautions. There was quite a few cautions in the bomber feature. But it was Brody Michelson who picked up his first career Jamestown win, so he was third generation within there that has won now in Jamestown within that family, because you have Kurt, who has won in the hobby stock bomber division, even at the Stock Car Stampede. Dad Chris has won there multiple times back in the day in the Wissota Street Stocks and other divisions. So it was nice to see that Brody broke into victory lane in the 18 machine. So Joe Jacobson was second. Tanner Jacobson was right up there up front. Unfortunately, got some damage on his car and resulted in a spin with only a few laps left. He retired to the pit area, and will have to come back fighting next week. In the slingshots, because I skipped them, there was 7 slingshot drivers there on Saturday night, and Caden Davenport had a brand new car and picked up the win in the all red 29. So he picked it up over Lightning McQueen. Easton Olson was in second. So pretty good run for those two drivers. They were pretty clean and green in your slingshots. In your Wissota Midwest Modifieds, we had 16 drivers that came in to the field on Saturday night. Had some big hitters out there. Both the Langlands were there for the first time this season. You had Reese Stenberg back in the 87S machine, and you had the driver that has been on a tear in the Midwest Mods over in Jamestown, and that's been Jaron Wimstead. Won the last 2 years in the points championships, always a contender for a win over there. And Jaron found the high side of the track about halfway through that feature, got to the lead, and was never really challenged. After that, they had several restarts, cautions, and Jaron kind of pulled away in each and every one of them. Battle was for second between Kyle Anderson as well as Zach Ranke, and then you also had to throw Reese Stenberg in there with Jared Klein. Those drivers put on a great show for second place, with Zach coming out on top, and Jared Klein was in third, Kyle was fourth, and Reese was in fifth. So pretty good run by those drivers. Your NX Legends, 14 drivers in your NX Legends division. A little bit different field of cars than we're used to seeing actually in the Legends over at Jamestown. A lot of the drivers were down in Aberdeen on Saturday night for the South Dakota NX Legends Nationals down there. So really good field of cars down in Aberdeen. I think they had 33 or 34 Legends on Saturday night, so pretty good field of cars. Jamestown had 14, but it was a first-time winner ever. Andrew Bargman picked up his first ever career feature win in any division of racing. So congratulations to Andrew Bargman. Also took over the points lead over in Jamestown. So he is your new points leader in the NX Legends division. Ranky was second. So Zach was second. And then we had Regan second. So it was kind of cool to see that both the Rankies were in the runner-up spot with some Cougans. So Regan almost picked up the win too. He was right side by side with Andy for a couple of laps in that feature event towards the end of it. And kind of fell back just a little bit as we had about 4 or 5 laps to go. In your Wissota Street Stocks, Street Stocks and Modifieds put on great races throughout the rest of the show for the night. Street Stock feature event was a great battle between a driver that has been on tear, and that was Cole Gresseth, as well as Dustin Erickson and Billy Chris. Dustin and Billy were going at it for second. Dustin got back around Billy on a restart and then tracked down Cole and actually passed Cole on the middle part of the track. Cole was running the bottom. Dustin was more on the middle to high side, and Dustin passed him with a caution that came out with 5 to go. Dustin was ahead on that last completed lap, and then Cole got it back around him on the back straightaway. Caution came out for a car that had spun out. They restarted. It was Dustin up front, Cole to the bottom, and Billy to the top. So that's how they ran. Cole was slowly tracking down Dustin. He was just using the bottom, kind of finessing it a little bit. They were side by side on the white flag lap. Dustin drove it in a little bit deeper into 1 and 2, got through the middle of 1 and 2 better. Cole got off of turn 2 better, took the lead down the back straightaway, drove it in hard to 3 and 4, and actually washed up from the bottom. Dustin had a great run through 3 and 4. As the lap before, Dustin actually messed up a little bit in 3 and 4, and that allowed Cole to get right beside him. And they were at 24 1,000ths of a second at the line with Cole with the win over Dustin. So Street Stocks in Jamestown have been putting on a show this year because just a few weeks back when Jessup was over there taping for the Don Gumpke Racers Memorial, it was Cole Gresseth who won by 41 1,000ths of a second over KCU status that night. So Street Stocks have been having some very close finishes in their feature events. And in your modifieds, modifieds were all over the track. They were on the bottom, they were in the middle, and they were on the top. So John Carell in that brand new Rage chassis for 2025 has looked really good. Almost rolled that car in Dickinson, hit the wall hard on the back straightaway and almost rolled it. Luckily, hit it square enough to where he really didn't bend a whole lot of things. He said he had to fix a few things on Friday into Saturday, but besides that, not a whole lot of damage on that 5 machine. However, Johnny C got to the front on the bottom. He brought the driver of Jordan Sowers with him on the bottom. Jordan started deep in that field and had worked his way to the front towards the bottom. And then you had drivers on the high side like Todd Duscher, Derek Hansen, Scotty Gartner, and a driver that started deep in the field was Quentin Kinsley, your Don Gumpke Racers Memorial winner. Started 18th out of 20 cars in that feature event, and with 5 to go was in the top 5 and worked his way to second. He passed Jordan Sowers on the high side. Jordan was running the bottom with about 3 laps to go. And it would have been very interesting to see if they would have had a late race caution or just a few more laps because Johnny C was about a second and a half ahead towards the end of that race, but Quentin had cut off about a half a second within the matter of just a couple laps. So it would have been very interesting to see what would happen because Johnny C was right on the bottom next to the wall. Quentin was running the high side right next to the cushion up top. Tough break for Scotty Gardner. I felt bad for Scotty. Scotty had a pretty good showing on the Dakota Classic Modified Tour. Not a whole lot of luck to show for any finishes, but he did have speed throughout the week. He had speed on Saturday night, was running second when he broke a drive shaft with 7 to go in turns 3 and 4. So tough break for Scotty there, over there in that zero machine. I will say it was nice to see Eric Edwards back out for 2025 in his modified. First appearance from him at the track in 2025. So good to see Eric back out. Hopefully we get to see him in his late model in a couple weeks over in Jamestown as well when the late models join us for the NLRA. That was the night. 95 cars, got done about 10:30, and overall, it was a good night in Jamestown. Track was smooth, racy, and all over.
Johnny C, you can thank me for that win partially because I said it was only a matter of time last week before he would get into victory lane with that, the way he's running. So nice. Awesome racing from Jamestown. I was in Rice Lake for the second of the double 2 nights for the Street Stock Tour. They had 95 cars as well over at Rice Lake with their Wissota Modified, Super Stocks, Midwest Mods, Street Stocks, and Pure Stocks who had the inaugural Bomber Bash, which was interesting because normally they only race for $100, but they kind of did a little almost crowdfunding effort. And I think the winner of the Pure Stocks with the amount of people that were pouring money in, I think the purse got up to about $1,800, almost $2,000 for the Pure Stock.
Holy cow. Almost like
Yeah.
little dream.
Oh yeah, kind of like a little dream type thing. So I was really curious on how the racing was going to be in the Pure Stocks, but we'll get to that at the end of the recap. Things kicked off with the Midwest Modifieds once again, and another caution fest. But They trudged through it. Was a good race up front. You had Blake Adams along with Landon Rand. You had Jake Stye, and then the 13 machine, who's kind of the guy to beat out there, Nick Kaler, kind of a name we probably have heard once or twice. He's won several features out there, and he got to the high side first before anyone, and he claimed the feature win in Minnesota Midwest Modifieds. Super Stocks was also a really fun race. We had Alex Myers in the 21M kind of having the race kind of on lockdown and on cruise control. He wasn't getting too far away from the likes of the 7R of Tommy Richards amongst the rest of the field, and came down to last couple lap restart where Tommy Richards got a run on the bottom because they were kind of running the high side more or less, and Tommy got a good run out of the bottom of turn 2 and was able to slide up in front of Alex Myers on the last couple laps, and he got the feature win. So congratulations to the 7R Tommy Richards. Now your street stocks came out. Great field of street stocks, 31 in total. And so first time at Rice Lake Speedway. So was really interested to see how the race is going to go. And very, very awesome race. 2 and 3 wide throughout the entirety of the race. We had some very, very heavy hitters. We had Nick Trainer, who's been undefeated in the times that he's been to Rice Lake Speedway this year. We had Hunter Van Gilder. New face this year, Parker Anderson, the 27, a former tour champion and a former national champion, made his first appearance of the season, along with Justin Vogel, also in attendance. And those guys put on a whale of a show. They were swapping the lead back and forth, running 2 and 3 wide. Last 3-lap shootout, they were 3 wide coming out of turn 2 in the battle for second, just behind Parker, who had kind of seized control later in the race. And his car was a handful, and he did all he could, and he held off everyone for the feature win in front of Nick Trainer, who finished second, and Hunter Van Gilden in the 84 machine finished in third. Now, the modified race, definitely one of the races of the year. If you haven't seen the highlight of that, I'd highly recommend checking it out, because it turned into a battle between Blake Adams in the 40D, a rookie in the division, and the 3 junior Shane Halapka. And those guys exchanged, I don't know how many sliders and crossovers the last 7-8 laps through lap traffic, and it was clean and awesome to watch. In the end, it was a 3 junior, Shane Halapka, edging out Blake Adams for the win. So congratulations to Shane on the feature win. And the pure stocks actually went caution free in the race. So that was great to see. I say they technically went caution free, and once the checker flag flew, then we had a car flip over after the checker flag. So it's like, well, a little bit of chaos at the very end of it. So, but it was Austin Fence on the 52 machine who started towards the front, and he checked out on the field. And since there was no cautions, there was not really a chance for anyone to run him down. I think George Richards in the 5R was the closest to him with like 5 or 6 car lengths at the end of it. But Austin Fensel gets a nice payday to finish out the night at Rice Lake. And so that was the night out there. That was my first time there for a race other than the Little Dream. So that was good.
Good job, Mason.
Thanks. Sunday. I can go quick through my little recap of Redwood Speedway before I get over to John to finish it out. We had Meet the Drivers tonight, and a second time in my career that I've been down to Redwood Speedway. They had IMCA Sport Mods with Soda Street Stocks, IMCA Mods, Hobbies, and Stock Cars. Your Sport Mods were another caution fest. I think it took about 20 minutes to complete a lap. But the points leader going into that night was Eric Larson in the 7L, and he got the feature win through all the chaos. In your Wissota Street Stocks, the guy that is the man to beat, Keith Tourville in the 111, pretty much had a dominating win, except for he was disqualified in post-race tech. Apparently, he had gotten a wreck a few weeks ago, and the wheelbase was too short. So that's something that they'll have to go back in the shop and address. So that handed the lead over to national point title contender Colton Brower in the Cole 34. IMCA Modifieds, a lot of familiar names that we know from like modified tour days, such as Kurt Lund, the Rogotskis, and the guy that's really tough to beat down there, Brandon Beckendorf in the 5 machine. And he put a stomping on the field in the modifieds to get the feature win there. The hobby stocks were kind of interesting race to watch, because a former national champion, Corey Probst in the 75, he hasn't lost a race there before last night. So I think where I was in the stands, the fans were pretty rowdy and were kind of cheering against him a bit, and were looking for every excuse to try to get him black flagged, even though he wasn't really racing super aggressively. But he did end up getting in a little bit of a scuffle where he got spun around and he had to go to the back. So the fans really voiced their opinions on that. The guy that ended up getting the feature win was a 17 of Brad Jones, so gets his first win of the year at the Redwood Speedway. So congratulations to the 17 machine. And in your stock cars, another name I just mentioned in the modified ranks, but Kurt Lund was racing, I believe, a Chance Hollins number 6 stock car. So getting some different car usage for him, and he pretty much had control of that race from start to finish. And so he finished out the night with the feature win there. And that was your night at Redwood Speedway. On to you, John, and finish out the recap.
Yeah, I went to McLean County Speedway on Sunday, a beautiful Sunday. Weather was absolutely gorgeous. And they had over 80 cars in attendance on Sunday night. So a very nice field of cars. 5 divisions were racing. IMCA Sport Compacts. There was Brooklyn Tomlinson, who was unstoppable again. She got to the lead and she just drove away from the field and picked up another win in Underwood. So congratulations to Brooklyn. Looked really good in that 17 machine, and has had a very nice start here 2025 season, because you know what? We're halfway through. Still a lot of racing left to go. In your IMCA hobby stock division, that was kind of an interesting race. They were kind of all over the track. There was some carnage in the back of the field a little bit, but it was Aiden Paul that held off the charges from some of the Canadian drivers that were there, as well as some of the local drivers that were there. So, really good race in your hobby stocks, and congratulations to Aiden Paul in the 27 machine. In your INCA Sport Mods, you had the Speedin brothers were there. Troy and Nathan were both in attendance. Troy led a lot of that race, but it is a driver that is trying to rack up wins within the IMCA Sport Mod division for national points. That's Gabe DeShaw. Gabe picked up the win after starting deeper in the field with the invert, worked his way to the front on the high side, and he picked up another win in the Sport Mod division in that 21 machine. Good run from Gabe DeShaw. In your INX Legends, it was a battle between the Mather brothers and Preston Martin. So some drivers that we see battle up front all the time for the win, including Donovan Weist was in that mix as well. But it was Preston who got to second. He passed Gage with about maybe 8 laps to go, was on the back bumper of Noah, but he could not get around Noah Mather, and Noah picked up a win over at the McLean County Speedway in Underwood in the 800 machine on his way home from the big win that he collected over in Aberdeen just the night before. And finally, within your IMCA stock cars, fortunately, we had some carnage in your stock car division. So races were really good in your stock cars. You could run top and bottom, but we just had a lot of carnage. So in your stock cars, though, it was Marcus Tomlinson who went back to back with feature wins over at the McLean County Speedway. He won on the Thursday before the 4th of July and picked up another win in your stock cars that night. Really good race between Marcus. You had Bruce Rutland up there for a while. You had Chris Tusher up there for a while. And then it ended up being a show between Marcus Tomlinson and then Will Manajovic was right up there. You also had drivers such as Christopher Zenz up there. Christopher actually had a lot of damage on that 69 machine, and a wreck that happened on lap 1 and came back. But yes, and Isaac Sondrol was right there in the 104 machine as well. But it was Marcus Tomlinson who picked up a big win in your IMCA stock cars.
When you were mentioning some of those names like Vilma Jovic, Bruce Rutland, I'm like, dang, it's like a mid 2000s field of stock cars, but brings me back to my childhood. Excellent recap.
It was a good night on Underwood.
That is your track packer report for this week. And so we'll move into what's upcoming next, starting in the state of North Dakota with Mr. Dakota Dirt.
Jessup, Dakota Dirt Race fans, you want to check out your one-stop shop for everything North Dakota racing news, schedules, results, weather forecasts, check out Dakota Dirt. They are social on social media platforms and also dakotadirt.org.
Are we social? I just don't know anymore.
Well, I don't know. That Dakota Dirt person is just not social enough.
I see they shared a link or two in the last couple weeks.
We did stuff. Anyway, just a quick update for this upcoming week. 17th, Sheyenne Speedway racing all their normal classes. Should be a good week of racing for them. On the 18th, Dakota Speedway kicks off or returns back from a little slumber from the Mod Tour with all of our normal weekly racing. I believe it's also Hall of Fame night. I could be wrong.
It is. Nope, it is. Yep.
Also on the 18th, River City Speedways has the Buffalo Wild Wings King of the Wings, NOSA versus the MSTS 410 Sprints, and the IMCA 305s, the Wingless Sprints, and the Lightning Sprints as well. And then, I might be mistaken here, but Red River Valley will be racing Friday.
Yep,
Oh, they are. Weird.
they are.
They'll have the NLRA late models along with the IMCA stock car meet and greet with the IMCA mods, IMCA stock cars, IMCA sport mods, IMCA hobby stocks, and the NX Legends. So full night of racing there. Looking at Saturday the 19th, looks like a busy night. Red River Valley will hold night number 3, I believe, of the King of the Wings and their Hall of Fame night. NOSA versus the MSTS sprint cars, the IMCA 305s, the NLSA Lightning Sprints as well. Jamestown will be racing. It's their Western Renegade non-wing sprint night. They'll have those guys along with the IMCA mods, Wissota Streets, Wissota Mid mods, NX Legends, Hobby Stocks, and the Junior Slingshots. Devil's Lake will be racing as well. They'll have the NLRA late models along with the Wissota Mid mods, Wissota Streets, and the Pure Stocks. And then Estevan will be racing what looks to be night 1 of the Riley Raynard Dirt Wars, IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Stock Cars, IMCA Sport Mods, the IMCA Hobbies, and the Slingshots as well. Looking at Sunday the 20th, it'll be night number 2 of the Riley Raynard Dirt Wars, and that will close out this week of racing in our general area. Mason, I'm sure you'll tell us all the good stuff that I missed outside of the North Dakota, Canada area, such as the King of the Wing opening night at Ada.
Yes, although I'm going to give a little shout out to racing kicking off a little earlier than that. We have the Tri-State Late Models taking place at Houston Speedway, and they also have like stock cars, street stocks, whatever similar classes. And I know there's a couple people from the area that are planning to go down. So, yeah, so that'll be interesting to see who all makes a trip down there for that show. Thursday the 17th, we got the Challenge Series over in Ashland. We have Grand Rapids Speedway Racing, KRA, the first night at the King of the Wings weekend or at the Norman County Raceway. They're back after a long break after their fair, and also the Victory Lane Speedway Racing on the 17th. Friday the 18th, we got Red Cedar Speedway with their military night. We have Dead Horse Creek Speedway with the first, I believe, of their doubleheader on the Summer Showdown. Fiesta City Speedway hosting a 1,000 to win street stock show. Now, this is not a street stock tour show, but it has the same payout. So there should be plenty of streeters there for that as well. Challenge Series is over at Gondik Law Speedway. Miller Central has the first night of their double header, and the Princeton Speedway is hosting the USMTS Series. Saturday the 19th, Greenbush Race Park racing a regular night. North Central Speedway has the Northern Vintage Stock Cars. Ogilvy Raceway has the USMTS. And we also have Dead Horse Creek Speedway once again. And Miller Central Speedway, their second night of their doubleheader, and Hall of Fame night over at the Viking Speedway with vintage cars as well. And on Sunday the 20th, Buffalo River Speedway finishes off the King of the Wings weekend with the Midwest Sprint Touring Series. The USMTS heads down to the Grant City Motor Park. Redwood Speedway in action, as well as Bemidji, Casino Speedway, and the Proctor Speedway looks like the KME Late Model Series. So a lot of racing and a lot of big races taking place this weekend. So definitely take an opportunity. As long as the weather gives us good fortune and good favor, we should be having a great weekend of racing once again.
So that means Mason and Kayla can't go to any of those tracks if you want to see racing.
No. Hang on. This requires this flag because we didn't have any weather issues this past weekend at the races we went to.
Well,
Okay,
that's
so
well,
what is this?
if you
What? Yeah, yeah. What is this? Is this like 1 out of 10?
John, was Mason not in the Minot area?
I mean, he was in Minot. Yep.
What happened in Minot, Mason?
That was last week. I'm talking about this past week.
Well, this is all one recap show.
Hey, if you're talking about myself and Kayla, we've actually had 2 clean and green weekends of Street Stock Tour racing in a row.
And
We
what
got
about before that, Mason?
We
Oh,
don't talk
2
about that.
weeks out of
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mason finds himself in the back of the pack again.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John, you on the weeks you travel, you always were creating tornadic activity whenever you travel for work. So I'd be cautious over there yourself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
You
Just
know,
blame it on me, Mason.
we
Yeah,
all
When, the stuff that happened over by Fargo was more where you live.
Yep.
I was never over there when that stuff was happening, though.
Kayla was still around
I just want
in
to throw
about the same area that you were. So, I mean, you guys are both centrally located in Fargo, and that's where Hurricane Kayla kind of took over because, hurricanes can happen from afar and spawn off tornadoes.
Well,
it's
this is
funny
true,
that
although she was not there the first weekend that the tornadoes showed up.
well, it is funny that a literal hurricane storm hit North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I don't think it's coincidence. It's not just by chance. It's 100% on purpose.
Heck, this is actually kind of comical because John mentioned that he had his that was this last week was like the first time he announced in like almost a month. I almost had more announcing gigs than he had in the last month.
Yep.
He's out here to sabotage us, John.
We'll display the white flag and give a shout out to our good friend Brody Carlsrud in the B1 IMSA stock car who went on the Dakota Classic Modified Tour this past week. Started off pretty good and then unfortunately had some rough luck towards the end of the week, but think he's, from what he said, still had a pretty good time. And so looking to get back going this weekend at a couple of his local tracks and kind of get the ship right in the right direction. And so be sure to follow his Facebook page, Brody Carlsrud B1 Racing, as well as his podcast, The Real Deal with B1, to stay up to date on all his racing adventures. So thank you, Brody, for your support of the podcast as well. John, wins of the week. Who do you got?
Okay, so I've got 3 wins of the week. My first one is going to the Madler brothers because they swept the weekend down in Aberdeen for the big legend special down there. So Gage won on Friday night with his brother Noah in second. And then on Saturday, it was Noah who beat Donovan Weiss by only a few inches at the line. And Gage was in third. And then Noah doubled up as he also won up in Underwood on Sunday. So good weekend for the Madler brothers. That's the first one. My second win of the week is going back down to the Aberdeen area because I have to give a big shout out to Mike Stearns, who put a lot of time and effort into making the Andy Daly Memorial a huge event over at the Brown County Speedway. They had a lot of really good racing on Friday and Saturday. The track looked like it was in awesome shape overall, and Mike swept the weekend in the mods. So he won Friday and he won Saturday night in the mods. So congratulations to Mike and all the work that he put into the event, as well as sweeping the weekend in the modified class. So that was pretty cool to see with Mike. My third win of the week, Mason, goes to McKenna Rummold. She picked up a huge win over at the Glendon area at the Buffalo River Speedway, as it was a huge Midwest modified win for her. She had a very competitive field of Wissota Midwest modifieds that she held off during that feature race and ended up in victory lane. She looked really good in that Wissota Midwest modified. First victory over there in Glendon, and I think there's more to come for McKenna as she's one of our youngsters in the racing divisions that is just going to continue to grow with racing knowledge with the years to come.
Yep, big win for McKenna. That was definitely on my list. Actually, all 3 of the people you mentioned were on my list. So great job, John. We think alike. Go ahead, Jessup. You're next.
I am ready.
Good.
Good. And
Good.
I'm back up. Good.
Good.
I can't yell it because Riley is
Beck is
sleeping.
sleepy.
My wins of the week, I'll kind of mix them up here. Let's go with Chad Becker picking up 3 late model wins this week, 2 over at Brown County, and 1 over at Casino. So that's a very good weekend for any individual. Two wins is, well, 1 win is a lot more than 95% of the drivers get in a weekend. 2 wins is really good. 3 wins is next level good. So, tip of the hat to Chad. My second win will go to Andy Bergman, picking up his first ever win. So that's a really neat feat. And what generation is he? Is he second generation or third generation, John?
That is a really good question.
Because I know Herb races.
Yep, so Herb raced, and then it wasn't Andy yet. It was I'd have to look up who was the middle Barkman that raced in that one too, but I don't remember if they're. I think it's third generation. I think.
Either way, that's still a really cool feat. So great job, Andy. And then, I mean, I'll, Mason, do you want me to leave you mod tour people?
No, mod tour is your thing. I only got to see one night.
I'll take the mod tour and then give it to the champions as Ethan Braxma and Angel Munoz for my final win of the week. They deserve it after a long, grueling 6-day tour. So, yeah, those are my wins.
Good set of wins.
Honorable mention, I'm just going to say this because Mason's not going to pick them. If he did, that's really funny. We'll go to Bryce Barnhart and Travis Wagner.
They were not on my list.
Were they?
No, they weren't.
Oh, dang. They both went 1-2 and over at the Big Sky Speedway, and they literally swapped positions from night 1 to night 2. So, another little tip of the cap, bonus tip of the cap.
There we go. Let's see if I can multitask on this while I do my 3 wins of the week. The first one I'm going to give is going to go to Jake Smith in the 21 Minnesota Midwest Modified. Swept the Timmy Imes ALS races at both Fiesta City Speedway and Madison Speedway. So he went home with a good chunk of change, and he always seems to show up for those big money shows, and it's always very tough to beat. So congratulations to Jake Smith in the 21 machine. I will also kind of stick in that area for my second win of the week and give it to Chris Behrens in the 43X. I can't see if it's his first career feature win in the street stocks, but he won at Madison on Saturday, and not an easy place to win when you got the likes of Zach Flickinger, Colton Brower, Mike Jans to battle with on a weekly basis, and very good job to Chris Behrens for getting that feature win. And then my third win of the week, I'm going to stay in the Minnesota Street Stocks and give it out to Cole Gresseth. 3 out of 4 wins on the weekend with a strong second place finish at his first time visit to Casino Speedway, and really making a strong case for that national points battle. And a guy that Jessup mentioned, Chad Becker, with 3 wins, also making a strong case for national points too. Those classes are getting pretty tight as people get more and more wins over these last couple weeks. And so those are my 3 wins of the week as well. Any closing thoughts as we embark on another hopefully fun-filled week of racing?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Should we open a pack of racing cards?
You should. I'm curious what cards you got.
Now, these are the photo finish trading cards, new in 2025. We got to do what all those card collecting people do. We are looking for the career wins, and rookie radar cards. Mason has not found any of those yet.
I don't no, I don't think I've seen it. I've seen rookie. I have a couple rookie cards, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we are
Yeah.
trying. We are
See, I
trying.
got a rookie radar card right here.
Oh, that's what it looks like. Well, we are here to pull any holographic. Oh, oh, no. Who is it?
You're doing a very nice job opening that up, Jessup.
Goodness.
Oh, hey, I have another rookie radar card here too.
Well,
Oh, yes.
start off with an Amelia Eisenschenk.
She is not a rookie.
Nope.
I'm not going to try to say this person's name. Tyler Polofsky, Micro Sprint.
Oh, I have that one too. I haven't heard of that guy, to be honest.
I got a Tyler Peterson.
Okay.
Definitely rookie.
Ooh, a Ryan Gerke modified card.
Ooh.
And a Dexton. How do we pronounce Dexton's last?
Cook.
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 Dexton Cook, national champion.
You got two national champions. Tyler Peterson was a national champion too in that mix.
Wait, who is
Who?
that?
Max Nelson.
Oh, Max Nelson. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Matt Sparby.
Oh, that's a different Matt Sparby card than I got.
Just picked up a win here recently.
Jake
Good.
Smith.
Just picked up
Hey.
a big win as well this weekend.
Ooh, and I got a Jeff Marthaler.
Oh, the C92 mod 4.
Yes.
Yep.
Kind of a cool looking card. And my rookie radar card is going to be Nate Kinney.
Same.
Same one as Mason. Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yep, I try to keep an eye out on the tracks I visit and where the heck they're selling these. Sometimes it's hard to find out where the heck they're selling these cards at the racetrack. Cheyenne, it was easy to find them. They were just right in the concession stand.
You didn't get us more, Mason. You should have bought the whole thing.
Yeah, I want people to experience it, so I'm only limiting myself to one purchase per night.
I guess I'm only limiting myself to one case of Dakota Classic Mod Tour waters per track.
Honorable mention for the win for me winning fantasy at Man on Thursday night.
Yeah, I just have to give myself an honorable mention because boy, I really took it to you guys when it came to Dickinson on, Wednesday.
You mean the fact that I'm not going to say I was going to win Dickinson, but I'm going to say I probably would have won overall Mod Tour points.
I would have also done really well in Dickinson because I really had really good stock car picks and I would have picked a lot of the top mod guys. But
Well.
Oh well.
Look at that. I was third overall. And
we spotted you all those points and you only got third.
And where were you guys at? Oh, look, Jessup was 34th and Mason was 35th.
well, at least I know Jessup and I picked similarly.
Yep. Wow.
That was disappointing.
Oh, and well here. Well. Let's think of it this way. Winning correction percentages. Jessup, 46.15%. Mason, 48.08%. John, 51.85%. Boy, really spotting all those points.
See, you got to pick more, so of course your percentage is going to be higher, John.
Yes,
And
John.
the blonde bomber, who was Becca, was 48.08% as well. In 39th spot.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold
Gosh,
on.
Jessup just really spotted all those points.
Well, I think that is a great way to end episode 18 of season 4 for the Track Packers podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, and comment. Let us know where you may be watching from, or just if you have any suggestions or feedback for the show. Thank you to our sponsors, Hitch Harness, The Real Deal with B1 Brody Carlsrud, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol. We had a nice full weekend of racing. We hope that you enjoy a nice full weekend of racing coming up, and go out there and pack the track.